right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on our NASCAR Zoom, media Zoom this morning. We are now being joined by our Chicago race winner, Shane. Shane, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate you spending some time with us in advance of this weekend's race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. Before we kick off with questions from our media, do you mind to just give us the correct pronunciation of your name so media can reference this video when they need to do so throughout the weekend?
Yeah. Morning, everyone. It's Shane Van Gisbergen, as it's written. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for doing that. It's a little bit of a housekeeping item there, but we appreciate you helping everyone out. We're so glad to have you back. Before we go to media for questions, if you don't mind to just tell us what you're most looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, it's just awesome to be back here. Arriving at Trackhouse Monday morning and seeing everyone watching the race. It was delayed and double top 10 for everyone, and how stoked everyone was about it. Yeah, it's just cool to be back. Looking forward to the race. The prep's been pretty intense. Just trying to get a bit better on the understanding of our setup and prep for the road course. And then today, later on, I'm starting with the truck team preparation for that, learning what to expect, how it's going to go, and then doing a bit of simulator stuff with them too. So yeah, plenty of prep going on this week.
All right. Well, now go to media for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll work to get to as many people as we can in the time that we have. And to kick us off, I'm going to go to Bruce Martin. Bruce, go ahead with your question for Shane.
Hey, Shane, how you doing?
Hi, mate.
Have you used Scott McLaughlin a little bit as a secret weapon to learn the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, since he's one of the better drivers on here, and he was really ecstatic and proud of what you were able to do at Chicago, and would love to join you in a stock car on a road course sometime again, just like Supercar days.
It'd be cool to have him join. He should have done a wild card this weekend, but yesterday he was at the simulator when I was, so they invited me in to sit in on his session and got to listen for a bit, watch how he was driving and how that side of thing works, and it was very cool to see. And it's awesome to be in a similar world to him again. We went for lunch on my last trip, and he was just so encouraging, I guess, to come over here and give it a crack. So yeah, it's awesome to be around him again, and hopefully this weekend I haven't seen an IndyCar race since they were in Surfers in 2008, I think it was. So it's going to be awesome to go and watch him and Scott Dixon race as well.
And also, what do you see as New England's not a very big country, but there's a lot of great racing talent. What do you see as the reason for that?
Oh, New Zealand? Yep. Yeah, I don't know. We're pretty competitive in our junior categories, and yeah, like on the world stage, we've done so well in America and Europe as well. So it's awesome to be helping add to that, not just in supercars, but now in the American side of things too. So yeah, we do pretty good us Kiwi.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question will go to Jeff Gluck. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Shane, there's been a lot of debate among the driving corps in NASCAR about how you'll do this time around. Some people are like, oh, no, he's the favorite. He's going to come here and we're going to have the same problem as Chicago. And others are like, well, we've been on this course before. It's different, road course versus street course. How do you see your chances compared to the Chicago race?
It's a good question. It's a lot of unknowns. It's going to be difficult. You can do as much sim time as you want, but there's only 20 minutes of practice this time. Chicago, I had the little feeler at the Roval, and then 30 minutes or 35 minutes of practice, whatever it was. So it's going to be difficult. Not many laps, only one set of tires, and it's a track everyone's done. So hopefully I'm building up, getting better, and getting a decent qualifying spot and out of the trouble, I guess, for the race start. But the race is long enough. Hopefully I'll be picking it up and pretty good by the end of the race. But how I'm going to fit in pace-wise, I have no idea. I watched the race from last year, and there's some guys that look like they're really on it. So, yeah, I honestly don't know where I'll fit in.
Thank you.
All right, our next question will go to Claire B. Lang. Go ahead, Claire.
Thank you. There's not a driver in the field, Shane, that is not just saying what a marvelous driver you are and how talented you are. How do you temper expectations of people that after you won at Chicago have got you at the top of the pack instantaneously, yet you want to go to the race and you want to feel like you can do anything because that's how you came in to Chicago. So what are your expectations and how do you temper them without holding yourself back? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it's hard when you've won one to try and talk yourself down. But for me, I don't have any expectations. But our prep work has gone very well, and obviously I'm in a good car again, in a car that's capable of winning. So if we get everything right, anything can happen. But it's going to be tough. Like as I said, it's a track everyone knows, and then I'll have to go through the double file restarts this time. And I know the spot has changed where the restarts are this week, but it still looks crazy. You're still going to arrive into turn one in a massive pack of cars. It's going to be on. So I don't really know how to be in those situations. I guess I'll have to learn on the fly, and it's pretty awesome to watch on TV. But I think being in it, I don't know if I'll think the same.
And what are your plans as you look ahead? Where you stand right now? What are your goals, dreams? Check this off. What can you tell us about what you plan to do now?
Yeah, I'm still working hard on it, and still main priority is my Australian team, Triple Eight, wanting to get them to have a replacement they're happy with. As long as they're happy with who's going to replace me, I'll be happy leaving. And yeah, I'm trying to get something over here and work on it. I don't have anything signed up, and I'm loving Trackhouse where I am now, and the plans that Justin has proposed, I guess, for the future is pretty exciting. So yeah, I'd love to be here and keep working, expand my career, I guess, and come over and have a crack.
And is the sky the limit for the weekend?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, obviously Chicago was a fairy tale, but there's a lot of work to be done before that.
Really fun to watch you race, and good luck this weekend, okay?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next question will go to Chris Perkins with Road and Track. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Shane, thank you so much for taking the time. How quickly did this program come together after Chicago? Was it immediately like, all right, let's do Indy? Or were you even talking about doing this before the Chicago race happened?
No, definitely not beforehand. I think that was it for the project for the year. And then, yeah, once the race finished, obviously we're like, we got to come and do this again. So we had to look at the calendar, what was coming up. Watkins, where I had been before, that's a clash next week. But Indy wasn't. So yeah, we worked towards it, and Hans came on board again, and yeah, that was stoked to go again. So it's pretty exciting, and hopefully we have a fun weekend again. And last week when I spoke to Justin, he's like, oh, well, on the Friday night there's a truck race. Do you want to do that at IRP? And initially I thought that was on the road circuit on the same track, not an oval. So yeah, it's all come together pretty quick, but it's been a lot of fun doing it.
All right. Thank you so much. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks.
All right. Our next question will go to Bob Hawkers. Go ahead, Bob.
So what would be kind of the optimal plan for next year, like as far as a mix of, would it be a mix of Xfinity and Cup, or would you like to do strictly Cup or run for a championship in Xfinity? Do you kind of have an idea of what you would want?
I don't have a firm idea yet. It would be good to do more Cup races. I think the difference between the Cup car and the Xfinity is quite a large gap in the way the car drives. So it would be good to do more Cup races. They're very relevant to where obviously I want to end up in the Cup series, but I think you got to pay your dues. Like, it's such a big learning curve, all the oval stuff, and especially the super speedways. It looks like a whole different type of racing that I've never done before. So yeah, it's going to take me a lot of time to learn, and I got to do as much racing as I can and work back up through the classes probably to make sure I'm comfortable and understand the oval racing world.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question will go to Holly Kane. Go ahead, Holly.
Thank you. Hi, Shane.
Hi.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about the field you have this weekend. A whole lot of different drivers coming in and giving it a whirl. And that's got to be kind of cool for you as well, to not only race against all these NASCAR greats, but to have a whole lot of other people trying to get in.
Yeah, especially Brody, who's a friend. We went for lunch the other day, and he's over here excited. And his background is from here when he was a lot younger, so he's pretty comfortable to be here, and they're going to be really quick. But obviously Jensen, who I spent a bit of time with at Chicago, and be cool to race him. And then knowing how Kamui drives, like his qualifying speed and his ultimate speed is unreal. Like you see that from F1, he'd outperform what kind of car he was in. So it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of unknowns. I think us four guys, where we're going to stack up. It's going to be interesting how we compare to each other, and then the rest of the field as well. But yeah, it's almost a pinch yourself moment, or it probably is, to be in and amongst the field like this and be taking part in such a cool series.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
All right, our next question will go to Trey Downey with MRN. Go ahead, Trey.
Hey, Shane, in terms of the two races this weekend, which one do you think is more important for your NASCAR future? Because some would say if you impress and have a good finish on Friday night, that could really open more eyes than you already have.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think like that so much. I think it was just a cool opportunity. Obviously, it's Ross's truck normally, and he's not allowed to drive in the playoff races. So yeah, it's just a good, while I'm here, go and jump in. Justin put no pressure on it, no expectations, just go out and have some fun, which would be cool. And yeah, meeting those guys in the truck team and learning how to approach the weekend, I guess. Marcus Ambrose sent me a whole list of stuff last night. He's obviously got experience at that track, but he's gone through exactly what I've gone through, transitioning into the ovals. So all the advice he sent me it's a lot to digest and take in, but hopefully all that advice helps. And his biggest thing was on Thursday, at 3:00 on the Friday, the track is going to be completely different to racing at 9:00 at night and under lights. So just got to be adaptable and not get frustrated when it's hot and slick during the day, and keep building up and learning. But obviously you're going to be in a pack learning. It looks like it's pretty close and tight racing around there, so it's going to be tough to get in your own ear and feel comfortable. But yeah, expectations wise and pressure, I don't have much on myself, but obviously I hope it goes well, and I'd love to be there at the end, completing all the laps and coming out of it straight, learning as much as I can.
And then you got the win as a ringer in the series, in the Cup Series, for the first time in a long time. And we've had some good ringers in the Cup Series. Ron Fellows, Scott Pruitt, Boris Said. Did you watch any of those guys coming up, as your racing career was getting going? Yeah,
of course. And then I knew Boris a bit from the Supercars stuff and through Paul Morris. So Boris was great for some advice too about how to come in and what to expect from those guys. But I think nowadays, with the way the new Gen 7 car is, it's much, not easier, but it's more of an equal footing for a ringer to come in and be in good equipment and go out and have a good result. There was, I think in those days, there was a lot bigger difference between a top car and not. So now I think, as I said, these four guys, or four of us on the weekend, we've all got a chance to get a great result this weekend. And I think that's it's pretty exciting. It's a big change for the sport, I think, in that regard.
Thank you.
All right, our next question will go to Kelly Crandall. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, Shane. Going back to what Jeff had asked you about drivers expecting you, some to come in and just do what you did in Chicago, others saying, well, maybe not so much. Does it feel like with the Chicago win that maybe you set the bar too high of what everybody's going to expect from you from now on?
I just think it's cool they all know my name now. They didn't last week or last time I was here, but yeah, I don't know about the expectations of things, but obviously my car's still got the yellow stripes on the back. It stands out, but I've still got a lot to learn. And as I said, the restarts are going to be completely different. It was a bit easier at Chicago, the single file onto the straight, and it kind of spread out and didn't have big stack ups at turn one. Just the nature of the circuit, and you can already see this weekend it's going to be like that. So yeah, I expect it's going to be a lot more action, and I don't expect to be out front like we were at Chicago. It's going to be a fight, I think.
You said there about people knowing your name. What has the reception been just from stock car fans, NASCAR fans, maybe through social media since Chicago, drivers, just people you've heard from that maybe have been surprising?
Oh, it's been awesome. Like a few of the guys in the field dropped me a message after the race, which was cool. And, just the reach that race had. People I hadn't heard from for years and, racing royalty and stuff. It was the amount of messages I got. I've never, winning a Supercars championship or Bathurst, I've never had such a response from so many people. And, it's still sinking in, I guess. And people are still talking about it, and our side of the world as well. It's it was a very cool weekend.
Thank you.
All right, our next question will go to Jim Utter. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, Shane. Just a quick question. Did the truck race, was that an idea that came about simply because of your interest of wanting to move to NASCAR next season? And are you looking at other opportunities to do different NASCAR ovals between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, so obviously been speaking with Justin a lot about the future, and I guess it just was another thing that come to his head, and why don't we jump in and do this race? So yeah, as far as the rest of the year goes, I'm not sure, but how late this one came up, never say never till the end of the year. But I'm still looking forward to trying to put a plan in place for next year and do a bit of testing, do a fair few races to try and get up to speed and comfortable. But I think this weekend, although it looks like a tough track, it's probably a good place to have a first oval race, nice and flat, not too fast, and it gives me a good opportunity to jump in, no pressure, I think.
And in regards to your Supercars team, are you playing any role in maybe who you'd like to see take your spot in what would be a very competitive ride next season?
Yeah, I read that some article yesterday that I was ringing people trying to make it work, but I've had people ringing me about it, asking what the team's like, and I know there's a short list of people on the team, and I think there's 3 or 4 guys, and all of them, I'd be comfortable with having replace me. So hopefully one of them comes up sooner rather than later, and we can, we can work on with it. But I'm still loving being part of that team. It's been good. The last round we had a good one, and we're still fighting pretty hard for this year's championship.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
All right, our next question will go to Connor O'Brien. Go ahead, Connor.
Hey, Shane. Two questions. First one, I guess something that's different in the States to here. How are you finding like the data traces and people being able to see your inputs and vice versa, you being able to see other people's inputs? Yeah,
it has its pluses and minuses. Obviously, at Chicago, everyone would have been looking at my stuff being quick in the practice and qualifying, but it has its pluses and minuses, yeah. But I think it's very good. It's not completely high tech, like you don't get all the G-force and suspension and stuff like that, but you can see the basics of driver inputs, and I think that's very cool, and probably something we could have in supercars at a lower quality, not give everyone all the data, but all the basics. And the transparency, I think, between everyone here is very good.
Cool. And I guess just being this time of the year in NASCAR, like, is there any situation where you might, help Daniel, Suarez? Obviously, he's one of those guys that are right on the cusp of the playoffs, trying to get in.
I haven't had that conversation yet. I don't know how it works here, but yeah, it obviously was a big weekend for them, and the cut line is so close. Those 4 guys going for the last playoff spot at the moment. But yeah, there's been no conversations with me about that to help Daniel know.
Cool. Thank you so much.
No worries.
All right, our next question will go to Greg Engel. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, man, we welcome Shane. Welcome back, I should say. And we all do know your name now. We just can't pronounce it very well, so apologize for that. But listen, you were talking about the world-class drivers and the fact, you've raced against Jensen Button. We got Kobayashi there this weekend. But you've raced against Jensen at Chicago, and you beat him. But now you're going to be racing. I mean, when you look at Kobayashi this weekend, he's a world-class driver for sure. He's won 2 WEC titles. He's raced in Formula One. and he's going to be there. What's it going to be like to race against him? And does that really kind of increase the already massive pressure you must feel to have somebody like Kobayashi out there?
No, I think it just adds to it. Yeah, it's just more quality in the field. And the road course guys, I was around at Chicago up the front with Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. I think Kyle at first in the wet. Like the guys in the series here, they know what they're doing. And we don't race very much in the wet in Australia, but we surely race in it more than they do here. And those guys were on it straight away. It was really cool to watch and, learn how to see how they were searching for the grip and trying to find it and taking big risks. And yeah, I think the Kobayashis, the Buttons, myself, it just adds to the show of a bunch of already good drivers, I think.
Well, we had a good show in Chicago. Have a good show this weekend, my friend. Have a cracking good time and have fun this weekend. Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right. Our next question will go to Deb Williams. Go ahead, Deb.
Thank you, Shane, for your time. I appreciate it. You mentioned there about the Chicago was going to be a one-off deal, so to speak. And then Justin came back and said, let's run again. So when you were thinking about coming to NASCAR, were you going to wait and see how you did at Chicago, or did you already have that in your mind coming into the Chicago race?
No, I didn't. It was purely a one-off and an opportunity to go and see what NASCAR is all about. And yeah, went to Nashville the week before, and that week I got to be part of the team and experience it, see all the prep. Went to the Oval, and it was just epic. I'd never really had aspirations to do it, but seeing the cars out there, and you don't see on TV the guys up the back battling, and it just looked like an awesome dogfight, all throughout the field. And my partner Jess and I, we went up to the back straight. You could walk all the way up to the wall and just watch the cars, a few meters away, it seemed like, on the back straight, and it was just epic, the noise and the whole field going past. And yeah, I just opened my eyes to it. Watching it on TV is one thing, but being there in person, seeing the pit stops, the pre-race stuff, and the entertainment of it all, like I just loved it. And then obviously the race went really well, and yeah, it's just, you just start thinking about wanting to try something different, to come over here. And yeah, Justin's been awesome. He said we've got to come and do it again, and hopefully that leads to more in the future.
So then, how soon was it after Chicago that you knew you wanted to make a NASCAR career move?
It was probably even before the race, like after qualifying at Chicago. We were talking that night, and Dad was there and stuff, and yeah, just how fun the event was, the atmosphere. The cars in the pits, in the paddock, they're just all under tents, all accessible to everyone. You can see everyone's stuff, and it's just the atmosphere of everything. It's just like a whole different world. Like I remember doing the Rolex 24 years ago, and I just forget how fun the racing culture is here in America. And it's intense, and the switch flicks when it's time to go and get serious, but everyone's here racing for the right reasons and enjoying it. It's just so much fun, and kind of been missing that a little bit in Australia lately.
Thank you. Have a good race this weekend.
No worries.
All right. Our next question will go to Luckin Glover.
Hey Shane, thanks for joining us today. You're talking about juggling your NASCAR future and looking at coming over in the future, and between that and also staying competitive in Supercars where you're third in the stands, how are you juggling that between the two series, trying to stay competitive in Supercars but also building those connections over here in America?
It's been okay. Like, we've had plenty of time between races. You have plenty of time to prepare. We're only doing 12 races this year, so it's very spread out. But yeah, my team's been awesome, and the communication's been really good. We know each other's intentions for the future, which is great, and working through it together. But yeah, all our race weeks, it's been business as usual there, and we have been struggling with the car. We got a new chassis for the last race, and we were back on the pace, but we got some momentum going there. And yeah, it's there is a lot of outside distractions, I guess, but we've got a really good sort of system in place to just, when it's go time, we're ready.
And when you look at the two cars, when you look between the next gen car and then obviously your supercar, do you feel like one's able to help the other? Are they kind of like interdependent in both and in different ways?
I think for sure. Andrew Edwards, my engineer in Australia, he definitely was a huge influence on street circuit setup for Chicago. And he wasn't doing the setup as such, but he was guiding the team and putting ideas and I guess scenarios in their head about what we do on street circuits, what the car needs for the bumps, and all the changing, how much a track changes over the weekend, and it's stuff that we hadn't experienced here. It was the first street circuit race, and then of course that information goes both ways. The resource here is next level. The preparation they do, the simulator work, both driving and mathematical, is crazy. The level that the teams are at here. So Andrew for sure learns a bit, and that's it'll hopefully start to get will trickle through into the supercar as well.
All right, thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
All right, our next question will go to Mitchell Brewer, and then we'll wrap with Lewis Frank. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Shane, thank you for your time. Just curious what your thoughts are as you go and compete at somewhere that has a legacy like Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I've never been there before, and obviously you see that race every year, and getting to race on it, although it's probably only just the front straight and a little bit of between the 1 and 2, it's going to be an awesome experience seeing that track and that place and watching the IndyCar there. It's pretty exciting to go there finally. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right, Lewis, take us home.
All right, thanks. Hi, Shane. Thanks for your time. So fellow Kiwi and former rival Scott McLaughlin said he had a 12-pack of beer and was tweeting, watching you in Chicago. Anyway, do you have any time to chat with him this weekend now that you've added a race?
Yeah. I watched his race that day. I think they were mid-Ohio, and then obviously this weekend they're on Saturday after our qualifying. So yeah, they've invited me to go and watch the race on the pit box, which would be awesome, and go and cheer him on, and Scott Dixon as well. And yeah, it's just cool to be a part of it. I've obviously watched the IndyCar so much the last couple of years, cheering them on, and that series it looks awesome how competitive it is. So those guys are at the top of their game, and looking forward to seeing a bit how that world works as well.
And with all this interest, yes, it started with Marcos some years ago.
Yep.
Do you see more drivers coming over from supercars who's expressed interest in racing in the U.S.?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously Brody, and another one who's really vocal about wanting to get here is Cam Waters. He came and watched the race a couple of months ago, and he wants to come over here and have a crack. And I think he'd be perfect for it. And hopefully my result at Chicago and how we go this weekend, it keeps opening doors for us Kiwis and Aussies to come over here and have a crack. It's a long world away. It's hard to look outside your bubble sometimes, but yeah, I think there's a place here for us. Our series is very competitive, so hopefully we can come and succeed here.
Thanks for your time. Good luck this weekend.
Cheers.
All right, Shane, thank you so much for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck this weekend, both at IRP and at IMS as well.